back to the code. Let's get going on this. So, yeah. What to do. We could, make a separate file and split things out and do all that sort of stuff, and we might do that eventually. Ooh, I double click there? Okay. I think I'll just move this over here. We can close some of these files I don't need anymore. And what I want to do is I want to remind myself how to call things. Looks like for FF Pro we use commands. What's command coming from? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Tokyo process command. Sorry, synchronous thingamajig. I don't know. So we want to do something like this, yeah? And yeah, at least this part we want something very similar to happen over here, right? Except we're going to use FFmpeg. And then we can't use -v quiet, but I do want to pull this command that we were running before. There we go. And we're gonna just basically bring this command into here. Let's see, we can do -arg hide banner. Yep. And then .arg -i, and then we want the path. Of course, we've not defined what the path is, so let's say that path is I mean, that's a good guess, but we actually, okay, now's the point where we actually want the application state, the app state. There we go. Because what we want to do is we want to like join. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. And what I'll do is for now, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to ignore the input, and I'll just hard code the name of a file. So we'll have something that we know what the output is supposed to look like. Okay, so we'll have that path, and then. There we go, and then, no, not output. We want to -arg -map. We do want to do format, yeah, like that. A. And then the track, and for now we'll say let track equals 1. So we'll just hard code that again. And then, hey, yeah, -af, exactly. And then it knows. So in the original Python implementation, we were using decibels. Also, what does the D here mean? It's the duration, right? Duration of silence at some floor. Let's and then let duration, and then let's see if we can get Copilot to write this for us. Yeah, like that. Okay, and then -f and null. And then there. All right. You know, sometimes the things that Copilot comes up with are just wacky, but sometimes it just works. Import that from Tokyo. There we go. All right, and then we don't. Why is this complaining? Expected enum results, found struct response. Yeah, that seems fine. Why is this confused about the... Oh, because we return. So we want to return an internal server error. There we go. If FFmpeg fails, we'll just throw a 500 error, and then I'll bubble up to the response. So now, this is not gonna. Oh, I see. Let's take this. Let's bring this down here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sneak the output of FFmpeg into the cursor, just so that we can actually use the API, maybe. If it... Why doesn't it like us? Why is it upset? Into response. Output goes into this output, which then goes and gets turned into a string that we throw inside of the cursor that we output as JSON. So that all seems fine. Why is this unhappy? I wish I could actually read this error message. The trait bound fn JSON detect segment input xm extract state app state is not satisfied. The following other types implement trait handler. You know, we can try something here. If we quick fix and we say explain using Copilot, we can have Copilot try to explain to us what this error means. We'll see if that helps at all. Okay, the error message. Oh, and it's gone. Okay. So it thinks that it's saying, yeah, well, this part isn't literally in the error message. This means that detect segment does not meet the requirements to be a handler. Handler trait is implemented for any function that takes a certain set of arguments and returns a future. It is async function. Into response. Detect segment does not meet these requirements. Check the function signature of detect segment. It should take 2 arguments. Xm extract state, app state. Seems reasonable. See, state, app state. Wait. If we... Does this have to be first? Yeah. So, that's all it is. If you read the request body, that extractor has to be last. That's all. It just took a while for me to remember that was the deal, but that's the deal. Not that we're actually doing anything with body, but, you know, we're telling it that we are. Okay, so this should run FFmpeg on the file that we've been running FFmpeg on this whole time. So let's open a new terminal so that I can be in the right directory. Okay. We still have that virtual env activation script in here from the old Python project. And then Docker, yeah, that. Please run that. Rebuild my image for this service. Oh, and I'll save that readme. So, hey, I do want to just say thanks for those that are hanging out here on the stream today. I hope you're getting something out of. I mean, I guess you are if you're here, right? Maybe it's just the music. But thanks for hanging out. And yeah, nothing else to say. Other than let's try this thing. So what I'm expecting, if I go back to Postman, is I'm going to run this, and we're going to see a bunch of output in the cursor, and it's going to be what we saw in the terminal earlier, right? Where it was just the output from FFmpeg. And again, this is not being used, so... oh, right, but we changed it to URIs, and it's supposed to be a vector. Alright, and we got nothing. Okay. That was not what I was expecting. It's a 200 OK, but cursor is empty. Let's look at Docker. Silence detection API. Did we see... Oh, another thing I could do is I could instrument these methods. What's this going to complain about? App state doesn't implement debug. We could. Or we can... Yeah, okay, we could probably just implement debug for app state. We have our own app state here, so we can just drive debug and rerun that. And maybe I'll just sit here while we're waiting for that to build and think about what could have gone wrong. If the command failed, we should have gotten a 500 error. Dash map format 0, A, and then 1. AF silence detect some things. Dash F null. Wait. Shouldn't it be... What was the command? Do I still have that around? There we go. So it was dash F null and then just dash on the end. I mean, we are doing something slightly different here because we're using silence detect, but we're passing in decibel levels and duration instead of this. But I would still expect there to be some output. Executes the command as a child process, waiting for it to finish and collecting all of its output. Await. Okay, and then... Okay, well, let's try running the API again. Okay. And then let's go back to Docker and look at silent detection API. Huh, I was kind of expecting more output. Is this from right now? It is from right now. Detect segment, version, trace, on request, on response. Okay. Could it be that the output was an STD error? And now we have to build again to test that. Maybe that's true. Let's try it again. Aha! It was STD error because there was an error. Now that is interesting. You would think if there was an error. So, okay. Interesting. I would think that this, if the command that's being run, well, maybe that puts an error, but it doesn't give an error code. So it's not technically an error. Is there? I want to know. So, can we tell it to? Let's see, error. Stop and exit on error. Okay, so let's try that. Well, that's something. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so let's try this, because I would really like to know if the command fails for whatever reason. Okay, so if we run this again, do we get a 500 error? Nope. Okay, I suppose I should take a look at what this is complaining about. Maybe it's because it's a problem in the filter. It's not handled the same way. Huh. Well, maybe that's... Let's see, filters? FFmpeg filters? Is there a separate option to tell it how to handle errors? Okay. Description, filtering, introduction, timeline editing, changing options, options for filters with several inputs. Okay. So no, not really. All right, so let's actually read this. So it says value negative 0.031623 for parameter n is out of range. Error setting option in to value negative 30 dB. Whoops. So we already had a negative. So that's wrong. That's probably... the problem. let's try rebuilding with that. I'm gonna remove this X error too, since that didn't really solve anything for us, so why keep it? So while this is building, Rust regex. Docs.rs regex. This crate provides routines for searching strings for matches of a regular expression, aka regex. Regex syntax supported by this crate is similar to other regex engines, but it lacks several features that are not known how to implement efficiently. Okay. That is a choice. This includes as an element to look around to back preference. I don't think we need any of that. So there's a site. What is it? It's regex 101. Hey, there's a Rust flavor. Awesome. So I think that'll be the next thing to do, is figure out what the regex is supposed to look like. So let's try this. It's thinking. It seems to be taking a lot longer than when I ran it from the command line. Quite a while, huh? What's going on? Okay, requests processing. Interesting. Why so long? A lot longer than before. I mean, granted, I did pass the different options. Oh, we got an output. So that took 38 seconds. That's not so good. Can we view this as... No, that's not going to help. And we do get different results here. Muxing overhead unknown. Silent detect, silence end, silence duration. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to go over to an empty buffer, and then I'm going to just replace all the backslash ends with actual new lines. That doesn't work. Let's see if I do it this way. That did something. Oh, interesting. Wait. We have backslash R's? Why? Okay, cool. Now we can actually see this. So we have silent start. Muxing overhead unknown. Silence and silence duration, the whole thing? I see. I think, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this back to do literally the same thing that I had done from the command line. Maybe the not using this number here. I think this in is the same thing as noise, but we'll do exactly the same thing. So I'll get rid of decibel and duration. We'll say let noise equals that. And then we'll build again. The other possibility is that, I am running on Windows, and this is a Linux Docker container mounting a volume from a disk in Windows. Maybe there's some inefficiency there that makes this slower reading the file. I guess that's also possible. We'll see. So this should be basically the exact same command I was running before, except instead of running it directly from Windows, we're running it inside of a Linux container. So, it was like a second or less when I ran it the other way. And it seems it's quite a bit slower. Okay, well, I may... on the one hand, I was planning on all of these requests taking a while anyway. So it's not a big deal. And there's other things I'm going to be implementing that are also... And, I'm intending for them to take a while to do anyway. On the other hand, it's... I should probably figure out how to make it not so slow. But anyway, that's not something I'm going to do right now. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to keep us moving forward on this whole getting the output from FFmpeg. So we're going to replace all the \n's, and then we're going to replace all the \r's, maybe, so that we have some example text here. And this looks to be more like what we saw from the command line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go back to regex 101, and we're going to put in our test string, and we're going to come up with a regular expression. And so what we're looking for is this bit right here. We don't actually we need to escape all these things that are not. Okay, and then this should be. How do we do? \d, and then optionally a decimal, and then \d plus \d plus. There we go, and then escape the pipe, and then we also want to do \d plus \d plus. Escape that, and then the fractional part, the decimal part is optional. And then we want to group this bit. Does the Rust regex crate support named groups? Excuse me. Looks like it does, so we should use that. They're nice. Name groups let us say, here's some information we're looking for from the results of the regex, and here's the name of it, so that we can then, when we're pulling out the data from looking at, scanning this big blob of text with the regex, we have names associated with things, and hopefully that'll be convenient for us. Isn't that the syntax? Oh, no P. Just this, and then end. Wait, I'm confused. It looks like it was. Question mark, and then, okay. And then we can do that. Okay, so that seems right. Except it says it's an error. So, one possibility is that maybe this just doesn't support that. Okay, and then this, I guess we just want some hexadecimal characters. It's like a memory location. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. I don't know what that is supposed to be. But I guess we really don't care. We'll just look for that. Silence end and silence duration. That's what we're looking for, right? And then nothing else matches it. That's kind of the other thing when you're trying to do regex. We have this nice big long example of all the text that we could be looking at, and we don't want things that are unrelated to match. So this seems fine. All right, and now we're going to go back to this crate, and we're going to figure out how to actually use this in our code. Don't save that. Hide that terminal. Okay, so. All right. Watch Copilot write the whole thing for us. It's in the right direction. Regex new r. Oops, I didn't copy the thing from the website. That's what I wanted to copy. All right. And then okay, so then we need to probably install and add the crate to our cargo file. Regex equals. We'll let it make up a version number, and then we'll find out what the current version is. 110.2. Okay. Save this, and it'll probably yell at us about not knowing what regex is. Yep, like that. Yeah, you could import it. There we go. All right, so we have a result that's either a regex or error. So we need to handle that. How are we going to handle that? I mean, I guess the obvious way is to do the same thing we've been doing the whole time, where we say match this. If it's okay, if it's an okay of a regex, we have the regex. If it's an error of anything else, we take that error. In real life, I might not be so excited about returning that as the body of the response, but this is fine. And then that curly brace is inappropriate. And then I guess we're going to build the segments. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is going to go away. We're going to build segments. And interesting. Now, is this believable? Let's do this. I did want to add group names to the regex, so I'm going to try to do that and see what Copilot makes of that. Yeah. So this is maybe believable. What is that? What do the actual docs say? So we can say some caps, captures. So we do captures iter, so we can iterate over the captures. It seems to be something. Does this? Okay. Parse F64. I mean, so this part seems okay. This part is wrong. So the segment here is supposed to have a start and end that's an ISO 8601 duration. So let's see here. We're going to do let start equals end minus duration. And then what we want to do is we're not going to use this format. We're going to construct. Let's see, how can we do that? If only there was a from sex F64. But there is not. It doesn't exist. What we can do is we can make a core time duration. So we can do something like from something that actually exists, please. How about a method? We could do new. We could do from seconds. Nope. My cursor was not in the place I was thinking it was. And then we have start. And then end is the same thing. seems fine. Except for the part that standard time duration and ISO duration have similar names, but I know they're distinct types. Yes. That's why I used from. I know. What is... Yeah, standard time duration is defined in create core. Yeah, I know. I know. That's why there's a from. On ISO 8601, whatever. Can we just do this? Will it auto convert it? Yeah, I know. That's why. Like this enum from ISO 8601 has a from method. Implement from duration for. I mean, granted, this is core time duration, but is that different? I guess it's different. Does this make you happy, Rust? Happier? What is... I don't get it. And I've done this before, haven't I? Let's not search only cargo tunnels. Okay, that was something else. I guess not. Which makes sense because this... Arguments to this function are incorrect. Is an interesting statement. If I misunderstood... implement from duration for this. Wait, is this implementing the conversion of the ISO 8601 duration to core time duration? Okay. It is. Okay. Well, hence my confusion. This is doing the opposite of what I want to do. So if I... Huh. I mean, I guess I could just do... is there a new? There's a default. I mean, to be fair, it says right here that this is a parser library. So it's perhaps not intended to generate, to go the opposite direction. Can I? Can't do that. Okay, so the whole thing we're trying to do here, this segment, has a type. It's ISO 8601 duration. Because it's because it has a serialize method. Like it serializes, unlike the Chrono one, which doesn't. Now I could. Why can't things just work the way I want? It's funny because it's such a small thing that has nothing really to do with what we're trying to do. But I decided at some point that I wanted the serialization format for these values to be a certain way. And I'm going to stick to that. And it's not making itself easy. So it's interesting. There is a standard time duration type. Yep. So maybe I should be using that. Now, this should... Interesting. Is there a serialization implementation for... I mean, there probably is, but it's not what we want. Huh. Not there. But it is... Clone copy partial equal partial order hash default. Yeah. So if I did this, that would make this part easier. Hey, all right, so that just works, right? Now our API is going to be wrong, and we can come back and fix that. So does this work though? I mean, granted, we need to make it so that it actually it uses the payload from the body, but will this actually get the durations? Also, another thing I want to do here in detect segment input is I want to have an offset. I wonder if I can I just do this? So we'll have an optional offset. Oh, I'm missing a, there we go. So this will be, I think I mentioned this earlier in the stream, that I realized that if we're going to be processing a bunch of different files, but we're kind of doing them piecemeal, that we... Actually, could that be inside of the cursor? Maybe that'll be inside of the cursor. Okay, let's do this. Let's make a another struct here. Drive, serialize, debug, serialize. Struct cursor, and we're gonna have some stuff inside of it. Index, usize is interesting. If we're gonna do this, then these won't be optional. It'll be cursor itself that's optional. Cursor, and then cursor. Aha. Cool. So that'll break some things, but I think that'll be better. And we'll just fake something here. And so something that we'll need to do, find length of the clip, the recording, right? Because we need to add the total length, not just the silences, but like the total length to the offset. And we're going to accumulate that offset so that the segments themselves So we want to shift the value of start and end by the offset that was passed in to body. Right, because what we are calling a segment has changed, right? From being, originally I conceived of this as like being a section of a file. So now the segments are the files. But we're still working in the context of there being a bunch of files. And so we're going to want to kind of accumulate the this information across all of them. Okay, so let's build it again. See how broken things are. So what do we think for the next coding stream? So that'll be day after tomorrow. Leak code or advent of code? Or we could keep working on this project. All right, well, everything compiled. So if we send this off, I guess we'll be waiting half a minute for it to process because reasons. Okay, so the first thing I see, I mean, I can see we have a bunch of segments, and that's good. The other thing I see is the representation here of our durations is kind of just this internal representation. Very precise. Well, a lot of zeros on the end. Still, look at all the nanoseconds. So we need to figure out how to fix that. So we have kind of the serialization we want for that. But hey, look, we have segments of silence. Okay. So, I mean, this part works, and that's cool. Some real progress there. Let's see. How do we to control the serialization and deserialization of standard time duration? How do we do that? We can't just like provide a different implementation, you know, with like impl something. But what we can do is do annotation. I don't think that's. Let's see. I have an example. Whoops. Somewhere. To serialize with. There we go. And I might just implement that way. Let's implement that. Yeah, can't find it, but we can make it. So we're gonna create a new file called serializing.rs, and then in lib.rs we need to make that module public. Yep, there you go. Didn't I implement? I implemented some kind of serialization thing. Maybe not in here. Maybe it was somewhere else. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to pub function something. We're calling this deserialized duration. Copilot's thinking. Let's see what it's going to give us. Okay. I definitely don't want that. So let's see here. So we are going to have something that is going to take std time. No, actually, if we're deserializing, then we're taking a string. Take a string representing an ISO 8601 duration and convert it to that using the ISO 8601 crate. And it's provided an implementation that definitely doesn't do that. Convert it to yep. This looks promising though. Does that work? Struct takes 0 lifetime arguments. One was provided. So that's something made up. I think, don't we implement a deserializer somewhere else? Yeah, here's one for range. So this is what that looks like. We have a function deserialize range. Okay. It takes the deserializer. How does this work? So to string deserialize deserializer, and that gets the string in question. Okay, so expected one generic argument R. Yeah. I think I'm just going to take this as a start. Because I know at least that mostly works. Yeah. No function associated. What does that say? No function associated named as serialized found with struct. Huh. Okay. There we go. Helps if I have the right use. What was that error for? Okay, we can return an error if something fails. Oh, I see. We have that explicitly there. Custom. Yeah. Cool. And then we want to... that's right. This crate is not required. Yep. Yeah, that's not the right version. Okay, we have that now. We don't have a... We don't have a parse. We have a something. We have a from. Okay. No variant associated name. That's out of date. Okay. Nope. Literally nowhere. Huh. Okay, but I could use the string. I could do s dot this. One too many dots. Okay. So that gets us a little bit further. So now we have a duration. And why... which duration is this? This is ISO 8601 duration. So what we want is we want a different into. Is it? Can it figure out what we're trying to do here? Nope. All right. Well, this return type is wrong. So that would be a thing. We want a std time duration. There we go. Oh, not an option though. We're already inside of a result. And then that just works because it sees that we're trying to convert to a standard time duration. And so the N2 selects the method that exists that converts the one from ISO 8601 to this one. So there we go. I don't know why we have those errors there, but this is fine. Now we do the opposite. We take standard time duration, convert it to a string representing that somehow. Serialized duration. That is not the right duration. No, that's fine. Does that actually work? No. Yeah. Is there... Hey, this is familiar though. Okay, so we have an STD time duration. And what we want is to serialize it into ISO 8601 representation. So maybe... So the ISO 8601 crate doesn't seem to want to do that. Can we... Doesn't the chrono crate have that capability? Maybe? chrono duration from std, map error. So I suspect this is not going to work, but let's see what it does. Like, I don't think what this is doing here with this format is going to work. But I'm curious to see what it does when it serializes duration. So this is the part that's in play when we are getting the result back. When we are serializing. Assuming this all compiles. We'll see. Alright, I am getting kind of hungry for, you know, food. So I think I might wrap this thing up soon. Sure is taking a bit. You know, I remembered one of the things I was thinking about before the stream was just running the service directly, not instead of Docker. I think I decided I wasn't going to do that because, like, getting the I guess I could have. I could set the environment, like I could have done it from the terminal. But I had that VS Code task that I set up to like auto run the different services. But it wouldn't have had the. I could have added the directory. Well. But times like this, when things are taking oddly long, are times when you think, maybe I could have done something differently. Okay, let's. I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm not out of disk space or anything. Okay. So we have chrono duration. Do we have something that allows us to format this? Submul div iter sum display. Okay, so it says it formats duration using. So in terms of generating output, Chrono will do that. So there is that, right? And so that means that this might actually work, which would be nice. Is this the only play? Okay, so we also need to do this down here. Now, is there a better way of doing this? Rather than annotating every single place to tell Surdy how to like serialize this for us. Okay, well I'm gonna start another build. While that's going, I'm going to hit this API. So now we have a couple of things that will take a little time. Oh wow. I'm just looking at my YouTube dashboard. I see new subscribers. Let's see. So we're waiting for that. We're waiting for this. So recreating that container. Too much waiting. Bad gateway. Okay. Well, that fails. It took too long. That is interesting. Why is it taking so long? Something I could potentially do. Okay, things started. Maybe it'll be quicker this time. Something I could do. I could potentially set up like a Linux VM. Have all the stuff running in it. That's not great though. What else could I do? I could figure out how to more easily run the individual services. I don't know. But hey, look, we have values serialized now. So we have our offset serialized into ISO 8601 duration format, and then our timestamps as well. Now, this is looking pretty good. There's still some work to do. We need to go back and actually use the inputs to find the file. There's some stuff we were doing in the Python version where we were grouping nearby segments together on a threshold. We could also do things with the duration option here. Was it like duration equals thing? I don't know about using the word duration. That's fine up there. Okay. Something like that. Maybe actually having FFmpeg do that for us. But yeah, so this isn't really the direction I thought this was going to go. In terms of shelling out to FFmpeg to do this, but hey, it seems to work. So why not? And then we do need to like implement this thing. This probably needs to wait until we actually implement the task API, which didn't happen today. But most of the silence detection API, like the one file version, is working. We just need to like do you need to find the length of the recordings? We could probably just I don't know if we can have FFmpeg tell us that in one command. We might need a second command to do that. But we do need to, like we can't expect the client to pass us that information. So yeah, so that'll be a thing to do, and then add the offset to the start and end of each segment. So we do have one nice thing is that we do have this offset in the cursor. So one thing we want to do is get cursor or create a new one. Right, so if there's a cursor, we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll generate this empty cursor, and then we use that to then determine which file we're going to process. So that means that this part moves down. And while we're doing this, we might as well get the track from body. dot track. That tracks, right? And then let file name equals body sub URI sub cursor dot index clone. I think if we just grab this part and don't try to copy that value and we put it there, that doesn't quite work because the URI has more in it. Extract file name from URI. Potentially something like that could work. We wouldn't want to use unwrap. Naturally, we want to use match. So if we fail, we'll return a bad request. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Maybe. And then we use the file name here to generate the actual path, absolute path, and we have an extra brace. We can get rid of that. All right, so now we theoretically can call this API and tell it here's a bunch of files and not give it a cursor. It'll pick the first file. And then we should take this and say cursor.index +1 to move on to the next one. Unless we're out of things. So one thing that this doesn't entertain is the possibility that we get to the end, right? So in that case, we probably want to say the cursor is optional in the response. And what we're going to do is we're going to, we'll say this is some cursor. So do handle case where we are at the end of the list. We'll also set a let length equals std time duration. We'll say this is like a made-up number, and that way we can say that this value should be cursor to offset. Can we add these together? Is that supported? We have two durations, we can add them together. Woo! All right. Okay, so it's not altogether done, but I'm done for today. So, I want to save this, and I also want to not save this. What I'm going to do is I'll put it here, and I'll just call it plans.md, and I'll not check it in. I guess one last thing we need to do is let's check in all this stuff though, except for the thing I just said I wasn't going to check in. And this is going to be, there we go, add silence detection API. Sure. Just ship all that. And then what I want to do is the thing that I have been doing the last few streams is I want to tag this. Okay, tag, we're going to call it, hold on, what are we calling it? So the last tag, okay, it's the date dash stream. Okay, so 2023, 1203 dash stream, right? And that's the message too. That's fine. And then we want to push that tag up, and then that way we can see kind of what was done on a given stream. That is sometimes convenient. That means I can do things like, so like here were the changes push to main since the last stream. And then of course, if we look at the tag I just pushed up, there aren't any changes. We haven't pushed up anything since we just pushed up. All right, so, but that's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for coming out and watching. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching there. Let's see, I think by the time this goes up, you'll have already seen if you've been. So I have made separate playlists on YouTube for the different coding projects. And so if you're watching this, there is a playlist where you can watch more. Depending on when you're watching it, there may be a next video, or it may not be out for a few days. So, all right. I think that's it. So, that's it. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.